In this example of activity outlined later in this lecture, the steps involved in registering an event listener and implementing the callback method will be discussed in detail. So before doing so, however, it's worth taking some time to outline the event listener that are available in the Android framework and the callback methods associated with each one. So here, firstly, we will have let's actually choose the pink here. So now we will have, for example, OnClickListener, and change the font a little bit here. OnClickListener. OnClickListener. We also have the OnLongClickListener. I will discuss all of them in this lecture. So OnLongClickListener here. We'll use this listener keyword so much here, so that's why I'm copying here. We also OnTouchListener here, OnTouchListener, OnCreate Context Menu Listener, OnFocusChangeListener. Oops, here. So OnFocusChangeListener. And lastly, OnKey listener here. So actually there is a more than that, but in this lecture we will learn just an main listeners here. So here OnFocusChangeListener, and lastly OnKey listener here. So OnKey listener. So here 1, 2, here 3, 4. Here. So now here, let's talk about them. So this OnClickListener here, not now here. So this OnClickListener here used to detect the click style event whereby the user touches and then releases an array of the device display occupied by a view. So it corresponds to the onClick callback method, which is then passed the reference to the view that has received the event as an argument. So we also have the OnLongClickListener here. So let's actually make it like that. So OnLongClickListener. So this is used to detect when the user maintains the touch over a view for an extended period. So this corresponds to the OnLongClick callback method, which is then passed as an argument to the view that received the event. We also have the OnTouchListener. This used to detect any form of contact with a touch screen, including individual or multiple touches and the gesture emotions. So corresponding with the OnTouch callback, and this this topic will be covered in greater detail in next lectures here. So the callback method is passed as arguments, so the view that received the event and on the motion event object. We also have the OnCreate Context Menu Listener here. So this OnCreate Context Menu Listener here, OnCreate Context Menu Listener here. So this listens for the creation of context menu as a result of a long click. So this corresponds to the OnCreate Context Menu callback method. So this callback is passed the menu and the view that received the event and the menu context object. We also have the OnFocusChangeListener. This detects when focus moves away from the current view as a result of interaction with a trackball or navigation key. So this corresponds to the OnFocusChange callback method, which is passed to the view that received the event and a Boolean value to indicate whether the focus was gained or lost. And lastly, we have OnKeyListener. So this OnClickListener used to detect when a key on a device is passed while a view has focus. So corresponds to the onKey callback methods passed as an argument are the view that received the event. So the key code of the physical key that were passed and the key event key here. So key event object here. So key event object.